white guys are amazing. I feel like they all think that they could land a jumbo jet with only the guidance of the air traffic controller.
No question. I don't even need air traffic.
I was just thinking about that the other day. And how would I go about it?
Airlines, concerts, and could you land a plane? All this week on Jim, Joe, Steve Show.
Here's a story about 20 years ago. 3 bros who grew up in Baltimore to the beach show. Every summer they had to go before they got married with kids. Now they all grown. Long trips to New York and Toronto. Playing beer pong with Captain Morgan's. Free throws. And if you don't know, now you know. Coming in hot. Jim, Joe, Steve Show.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Jim, Joe, Steve Show, where sometimes we have special guests because some of our partnership didn't show up because they're sick. My name's Joe.
I'm Jim.
And special guest...
Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I don't think there could have been a better representation for your overall personality than Matt.
Pleasure to be here.
Hi, Matt. Why are you in town?
Why not?
Who are you, Matt?
I'm Joe's brother.
Oh, Joe, that was more on you.
That's where we should have gone. It's
probably
my brother Joe. I mean, my brother Matt.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, welcome to
thanks.
the pod.
No, thanks. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
It's been a couple years since I've seen you.
Has it been a couple years?
It's been, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My most, I think I've told the story on the podcast, but my most memorable moment with Matt was your wedding. When I've told the story where I was testing my joke about the salmon pasta on you, and I got to the punchline, and I thought for sure it's gonna kill.
It's funny. I have zero recollection of that.
The good memory runs into the family.
It must.
But I wonder if I had done that sarcastically and the sarcasm didn't convey well.
That's
or if
possible.
I was, because I don't think that I would have had the reaction of like off limits.
No,
No,
you didn't do that.
No, when I was getting to alluding to the fact of how bad the salmon pasta tastes.
Yeah.
And you were like, "What are you talking about? It tastes great." like it's like what? Where's the joke? I don't get it. Like there was no joke there. It was just in your family, we eat salmon pasta and it's great.
It's a normal thing.
And then
for
I
us.
thought I was second questioning myself, like maybe I don't say this joke because nobody will get it. And
But everyone got it.
But everyone got it, thankfully. But I almost pulled it because of
we
you.
actually all hate it. We've just been going along with the joke.
If you want to stay for dinner tonight, we're making shrimp and pork Cantonese style. It's going to be a good dish.
I'm going to eat leftover Texas Roadhouse. Thank you.
So how is life, Matt?
Life is good. No complaints.
Yeah. So you flew up here from Atlanta.
I did.
How was the flight? Did you get a good deal?
I did get a good deal. It was $29, Frontier. But they fuck you really bad. So there's one of those like bin measuring, like bag measure
To make sure your
bins.
bag fits in the overhead bin or whatever.
So like anytime that I like book a budget airline, I'm always like just backpack, quick weekend trip. So we get there and they start calling out if your personal item doesn't fit in the bin, you've got to pay for it. And I'm like, that's kind of shitty, but whatever, no big deal. As the line is building up, they're calling out people like measure your bag, drop your bag in, does your bag fit? And they're like, you either got to pull your stuff out or you've got to pay for it. What they don't say is the fee for a personal item that doesn't fit in the bag is $100. And there were people who were like, the flight was $29. There's no way I'm paying $100 for a personal item.
And they just left the line.
They were like, screw it, we're out of here.
Like they're just not going to fly
They're
out
not
to
going
where
to fly because the flight was $29. They're not going to pay $100 for their purse.
That is shitty, but at the same time, you're not flying elsewhere for $130.
Yeah, that's fair.
And is that why everyone just gets so angry on Frontier? Like
Oh,
you always see
totally.
the
Frontier
viral
and
clips.
Spirit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are the two where people just go buck wild.
Oh, well, I mean, I think it draws from a special crowd
I mean,
from the onset.
I took the kids to Florida a month or two ago, and I was looking at Frontier, and I was just thinking, like,
So tempting.
It's so tempting because it's so cheap. But like, when we fly, I could just pack one big bag for all of us, and so I was just going to check one bag for all of our things. But to book all the tickets together, you can't just add one bag to one of you. When you add the bag option, it adds to all three of you. So then I would have had to like book separate tickets, one for me with a bag, and then 2 for them without bags. And then I was like, they're making this too difficult, like, to be worth it. You know, the headache.
Your 4-year-old daughter sitting in row 29 in the back. You're up front.
Right, which is ideal, but
let somebody else deal with it.
Right.
I don't fly that often, maybe 3 times a year.
all to Nashville.
99% of my flights are to Nashville, but I always fly Southwest. I got a Southwest card, so I don't pay for flights. So it's just kind of, you pay for them, but I use points.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'm always low B's,
yeah.
and I can get an aisle seat or whatever. So I don't know what like first class versus whatever versus like.
Well, Southwest doesn't have first class.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. So like I'm not.
Southwest is only first class.
Hey, Southwest, if you're looking to advertise, give us a call.
So I don't know how comfortable the seats are for Southwest compared to say like a Spirit or a Frontier or American Airlines.
The Spirit planes are actually really nice because they are a brand new airline and they bought all brand new planes. So the planes are nice, but just everything else.
I don't think they're new planes. I think they're just like they
Refurbished?
gutted them. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I
Okay.
think so.
All right.
The seats have very little padding. It's like a plastic shell with like leather stretched over it, so there's not a whole lot there. And like so on a Delta flight, you have on the the headrest, you've got this like soft padding and it's bendable. So you can like pull it into your head and you can
Kind
sort
of
of
lean
like
to
lay
one
your
side
head
a
onto
little
it.
bit.
At least not on the Frontier. We'll see how the Spirit flight is tomorrow.
I saw this awesome life hack where somebody took a barf bag, put an edge of the barf bag into the fold-out tray, and then put it up and locked it. So the barf bag is now stuck in the fold-out tray, just hanging down. And then they took their cell phone and they took their phone out of the case, put the other hanging end of the barf bag in the case, and put their phone back in the case with the barf bag. So the phone was just hanging right in front of them perfectly. I was like,
That's pretty good.
yeah, I thought it was great, and we'll post a picture of that for our listeners.
That was very long-winded, but then it's an easy concept to do. It's hard to describe.
Yeah,
It's interesting. So you couldn't do that on the Frontier plane because their tray tables are probably smaller than an iPad mini.
are you serious?
Yeah, they're like these little. It's
They're
almost
cup holders.
like an ashtray. Like, what is this little thing going to do? Like some dude sitting there with an iPad Pro on his lap and like this little tray table the size of a cigarette, pack of cigarettes is.
So you fly probably more than anybody I know.
Okay.
What's your preference? Like ranked like the top 4
Airports.
airplanes, airlines,
So
and then
He
airports.
loves the F-16. He was also a big fan of Top Gun.
in Atlanta, it's Delta because that's their main location,
Okay.
main hub or whatever. And I think Delta is probably the nicest. They have, at least my experience, it's always newer planes, newer, interior, really nice. Best snack mix by far.
Oh, pro tip.
Yeah, that's right. If you want the best snacks, fly Delta.
And are you a member of the Mile High Club?
I have not joined the Mile High Club yet.
Solo.
Isn't that what it is?
Can I get an extra blanket, please?
I saw this question the other day, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh
Steve
man,
has been
this would be."
oddly quiet today.
Steve, you okay, buddy?
A little flush, a little red, Steve.
A little bushy.
He's just laughing a lot.
He looks like he needs some water.
Dehydrated.
All right. If you were randomly dropped into a pro sporting event with your entire country's hopes and dreams on the line, would you most want to attempt a free throw, a penalty kick, a 25-yard field goal, or a 6-foot putt? What do you have the best chance of making?
For me, would be a field goal.
Yeah.
I feel like
Field
that
goal.
would be the same for me as well. Like, even though I've
It's the
putted-
easiest job in pro sports.
The backup quarterback is.
Yeah, absolutely. I've putted way more balls than I've kicked, but I feel like when you can put your whole body into doing something as opposed to just like trying to softly tap something in.
What's interesting is the amount of confidence all three of us had in that answer. Nobody skipped a beat. 25-yard field goal.
I like it because the size of the ball versus the goal, you have the best options.
I was
The best odds.
thinking second for me before you said field goal was penalty kick. Like big net, soccer ball.
But there's also
pretty
somebody
easy
better than you going to
on the receiving end.
right.
Yeah, trying to stop
True.
it.
Where it just as long as I can put my foot exactly where I need to on the ball,
It's going
it's gold.
in.
Yeah.
It's funny that you said like the amount of confidence we had doing that. I saw another tweet, and it was something to the effect of white guys are amazing. I feel like they all think that they could land a jumbo jet with only the guidance of the air traffic
No
controller.
question. I don't even need air traffic.
I was just thinking about that the other day, and how would I go about it? like could I stay
This
calm?
plane needs me.
Like I would put on the headphones and just be like, dude, like, hey, I don't know what happened to the pilot. I don't know how to fly this thing.
If there's ever an incident, every single white guy is standing up and raising his hand.
Right, like, I got
I can
this.
take this
Guys,
over.
I've seen both Top Gun and Independence Day.
They practically fly themselves anyway.
Right.
That's what I feel like.
It's easy enough.
Pretty soon you can just say, hey, and they're gonna just dial it in for you.
I saw something that the airline lobby is lobbying the FAA to cut back from 2 pilots down to 1 on flights.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, right.
A little redundancy never hurt anybody.
Right.
I like a little bit of a backup.
The flight attendants, they don't get paid until the door closes.
That's right.
On the plane.
And they stop getting paid as soon as it opens.
Yeah. It's like
So they're getting paid for the flight, essentially, like just the flight.
Correct. So like all the time that we're, shuffling our bags and trying to find a seat and all that shit, all those people are there for free.
And if they're at the airport, they're not getting paid. And if there's a delay and the door stays open, they're not getting paid.
Right. It's a pretty terrible job. Like you've got to be in it for like the travel.
For the perks, that's right.
Yeah.
But what really are the perks?
Travel.
Go anywhere for almost nothing.
I mean, but that's
so
cheap enough now as it is.
I had a buddy. But to go anywhere. So I had a buddy who, like, shortly after high school, he worked part-time for, like, American or something, just doing, I don't know if he was doing bags or he was somewhere, like, on the tarmac. Maybe he was, like...
They're called throwers.
Yeah, maybe he was, like, guiding the plane in, and he could fly just for the taxes. He didn't have anything to do on, like, a Saturday and just flew to England. He got on a plane, flew to England first thing in the morning, walked around the city all day, and then hopped on a plane home.
Which doesn't sound like a perk in my eyes. Flying 16 hours to walk around London for an afternoon.
I would do it. I mean, if you can sleep on a plane, like if you've got the ability to like actually fall asleep.
Yeah.
I mean that, and you're 20 years old.
Sure.
So
yeah, if you're single and don't have shit to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, imagine how much free time we had 20 years ago.
Absolutely. But that perk only lasts so long. If you're in your 30s, married and kid,
Right.
how often do you get to use the perk? Now, does your family get to fly
I think
free?
they get discounts.
My sister-in-law's a flight attendant, and
Okay.
so like you have, I think, one person who's like your main travel companion, and I think that they don't get quite the same deal as you, but they get a really good deal. And you also like there's different like priority levels, so you're effectively flying standby, and they rank you based on I think with American it's like D1, D2, D3. So like D1s, unless the flight's oversold, you basically get a seat. Then D2 and then D3. So anytime I flew, I was a D3, and you're probably missing 70% of your flight, so it's totally unreliable. But
did you fly standby a lot?
I did it a couple of times, and I think probably at least half the time I just bought a ticket at the gate because I wasn't sitting in LaGuardia all day, right? Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting too because it's all based on seniority in terms of like the flights you get and like the schedule you work. And so, there's a lot of people who only want to work like one day a week and they want to do like a long haul to like Australia. And there's also a lot of these older women, apparently, people who are like in their 70s who haven't retired out, who basically work like one day a month just to maintain their flight benefits.
If you ever want to know everything there is about flight.
One other interesting tidbit is apparently there are people who live in one city, commute by plane to where they actually work out of. So like somebody will live in Miami, they'll be based in Chicago, and they will commute from Miami to Chicago to work there, 2 or 3 days, and then they'll come back to their home in Miami.
I've heard that pilots and probably stewardess have like crash pads that they rent in certain cities where, you kind of have like it's
3 or 4 people,
right,
like
it's
you're
kind of
basically
like a
running a
flop
bed.
house, and you just crash there when you.
Yeah. A lot of flopping going on.
I'd imagine. I've used that bathroom a couple times, and
What bathroom?
On the
plane.
airplane.
Oh, okay. Well, you made it seem
That
like
sounded
that
very
one
specific.
bathroom.
I've used the restroom in flight, and I always feel like I have to sit down, pee, poop, whatever, like I can't stand up because it's not big enough. And I feel like if any little turbulence, I don't want to be cleaning up the bathroom.
Right.
So you just sit down and make sure.
You put your hand up.
That's exactly what I do.
Brace yourself.
I put my heels against the back door and put my hand up like above my head and just wedge myself in there so I'm not going anywhere.
That's also, you can do that. I would just sit down.
sit.
But I always feel like when I flush the toilet, I could
Get
sucked through.
Yeah, 100%.
So it adds a little bit of danger to the.
Well, that's why you dip it in there and then hit flush.
Now, since you're sitting, you can also wash your hands while you're going to the bathroom,
That's
which is
true.
actually pretty efficient.
And if you had a bowl of salmon pasta with you, you could eat it while you're sitting.
So I was talking about Morgan Wallen tickets. The ongoing joke as to what you're willing to spend for tickets.
Right.
So the way that Ticketmaster does it now, if you're not familiar, if you haven't bought tickets, you can't just go in for popular acts any longer. You have to go register first to be a verified fan. Then you have to register to try to get a pre-sale code. You can't just go buy tickets. So Morgan Wallen is going to sell out every city that he is on his next tour. So I did a verified fan for myself, my wife, and my son. Our neighbors did too.
What is being a verified fan?
That just means that they're trying to eliminate scalping and these big ticket brokers coming in and buying a shit ton. So you have to have a verified fan, which means you have an email address and a phone number. And only one phone. You can only register that phone number once with that, or the email address.
Did you know that Ticketmaster holds an annual conference for ticket scalpers?
Oh,
that show them all the new securities, quote unquote, that they're applying to prevent scalping and how to get around them.
That lends to my point. So now that I have 3, my neighbors have 2. My cousin got 2, and my other cousin got 2. And then we were
like registered verified fan accounts,
like not the pre-sale code, but
right.
You have to register first. And then my wife and I were sitting like, how can we increase our chances? So she's like, well, maybe I can get my brother to do it. So our brother's in Colorado and could care less about country music, probably same as at least you. I don't know how you like no country for you. So they've released them they've let you know on Tuesday or Wednesday if you got it, and Thursday was a pre-sale. None of us got it. Nicole's brother got it.
Okay.
So, which meant we got it. So he gave us his code. So now he couldn't just give us the code and we use it to log in when the tickets went on sale. We have to log in under his name so you couldn't just give somebody the pre-sale code. It has to be under your email address that was registered.
Okay.
So I had to go in before and change. They make you update all your credit card info.
Okay.
So I had to take his credit card info out, put my credit card info in on his account.
Jesus.
And then when they went, for sale. So I was busy, so Nicole actually left work early to get home. I think she had an online meeting or something. So she gets in the queue, and there's 2,000 people ahead of her. And she, like at 4 o'clock, they went on sale. She was in there. Like she got on at like 3:30. And then you go in a queue, and then it tells you how many people. And then when your time is up, you get to choose your tickets. So she got in, and there was a 6-ticket limit. So she got 6 tickets. Let's say on the floor, like good seats, solid seats in Hershey. And just face value was $388 a ticket.
Oh my
Pre-sale.
God.
And that's before all the fees.
That was with fees. So it was $60 in fees per ticket. So it was like $320, $330, whatever dollars for. And so Ticketmaster, to your point, they used to make their money on the fees. Like the artist would say, my tickets are $100, and then they would add their fees. Now Ticketmaster does this dynamic pricing, based on the demand.
Are you serious?
Right. So they fluctuate the price at any given time based on the demand. So now it sucks for the end user, the consumer, because not only do they can guess, okay, this artist is popular, they know beforehand exactly how many people are going to go to that particular concert because you have to register. So they already know the demand, and then they fluctuate the price on top of that, and then their fee on top of that.
I think they've positioned the whole dynamic pricing as a way to try to keep scalpers from buying the tickets. But I think the reality is they know there's so much more value to those tickets in a secondary market. They want to capture that revenue.
Right. They're scalping their own tickets.
Well,
That's
and
right.
and they provide a marketplace for secondary ticket sales.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, it's pretty dirty.
it's
My
it's so
my
fucked.
wife bought she bought tickets to the Taylor Swift concert.
Oh, you were the one you won the lottery then.
Yeah, so she won, and it probably took her 7 hours. Like, the computer kept freezing, like, she kept getting kicked out, and I was getting text messages. I'm at work, I'm getting text messages all afternoon. She's like, computer's blowing up, like, she couldn't get the tickets. And finally, she ended up getting them, and, if I had my way, she'd sell them for 3 times what she
Right.
paid.
A funny story on that. A guy somewhere in like Alabama or I want to say some backroads country, but the guy was on Ticketmaster trying to buy ZZ Top tickets.
Okay.
Had no idea.
In demand.
Right. They're not very demand. And somehow there was a glitch in Ticketmaster and sold him front row tickets to Taylor Swift. And he was like, I don't know who this lady is. But once he realized like that he's sitting on a gold mine, Ticketmaster let him keep them. And he was like, I'm going to sell these and just hire ZZ Top to play in my house. So there's a feel-good story with that. But yeah, like tickets for Taylor Swift.
I feel bad for the 6-year-old who thinks she's going to Taylor Swift. Instead,
Right,
she's going to
ZZ
ZZ
Top. Yeah. Like
what's Tush?
$20,000 for tickets for Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Nobody
That's what people were paying.
are reselling them for.
And what's crazy
Crazy.
is they
God.
added dates to that tour because of the demand too. When it first launched, Tampa had 1 show. Now there's 3. So you've got Raymond James Stadium, which holds 45,000 people, and they had to triple the amount of tickets that they were selling, or the amount of, because of demand. They added 2 nights to the schedule.
It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, that there's like that many people that are willing to pay that much
Have
money.
that much
Yeah,
money. Yeah.
crazy.
Like, and is it like for the so I guess in Jen's case, like she's going to see the concert herself. It's not like she's buying them for Lauren,
Right.
So, but I wonder how many of his like parents like, oh, I want my kid to be able to say they went to the Taylor Swift concert, and so I'm going to pay some obscene amount.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of that. I was talking actually to Nicole last night. We were out to dinner, and I said, what's going to happen if this stays on the same path, the way that you buy tickets? There's going to be an entire generation that doesn't go to concerts, and you're going to that's a kind of a big thing, because it's, one, they're unaffordable, and it's such a hassle. Before it was fun, like back in the day, you get up and you stand in line.
Yeah, camped out overnight for
And
WHF
if you got
Festival.
there
Did you
first-
ever camp out for HF Festival tickets?
No, that was at JCPenney, wasn't it? Didn't
You could do it at
Macy's.
Hex.
Or Hex.
Okay, got it.
Hex. Yeah.
But that was a thing.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I think you were just
if
talking
But
you-
it was
about
like $20 too, right?
Well,
Yeah.
right. It was affordable.
Yeah.
And that was an experience. And if you were a true fan, you got there early.
Yeah.
And it didn't have anything to do with affordability. It was just you went if you were a fan and could go. And now that doesn't compute.
I feel like they wouldn't even be willing to put the risk out to like force people to stand in line overnight, because somebody would come and like shoot up the line.
Oh well, you would just have nowadays that wouldn't work. But
Right.
the whole ticket, they try to do like the whole queue.
Yeah.
But the queue sometimes they say it's random. Like you can log in. They say get in before like 15 minutes early before tickets go on sale at 4:00. Get in at 3:45.
Yeah.
And then it will say it's going to randomize. What does that even mean?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I know what it means, but so you're saying that if I log in at 2:00 and somebody else gets in at 3:45, they may get the first ticket and I may be 5,000 back.
Right.
It doesn't. It's a screwed up system.
Yeah.
The other strange thing is I always thought that like pre-sale would be like a certain number of tickets would be allocated to a pre-sale. And I
that's-
don't think that that's what they do. Like by the time, like, and I think there's multiple pre-sales. Like there will be like the Ticketmaster pre-sale. There will be like an American Express pre-sale. And like by the time the pre-sale is done, like it's sold out. Like
No, there's like a ticket left that's behind a pole, obstructed
not
view.
not anymore. Like,
I think like Taylor Swift sold out during the pre-sale. They
and
never actually
Morgan
went on
Wallen,
sale.
there was a little thing that
Who
said
the hell is Morgan Wallen? Like
he's just a country guy, you know. Like
he's that popular that
Yeah.
like they're God.
and
He's
I-
the Taylor Swift of like the dad generation.
Oh.
yeah. I mean, it's 40-year-olds and 15-year-olds. That is more.
Hopefully it's not
kind-
40-year-olds with 15-year-olds.
You know.
It is country music.
That's true.
Can you edit that out?
Yeah. It's a good time. You know,
Yeah.
like I like his. I probably listen to his album 5-6 times a week. Like I enjoy it. But it says there will be no public sale tickets. So unless you get picked, you can't buy. Now you can go in today, and Hershey. We're going to Hershey. That's the concert. So there's zero tickets. But there's a couple like out. There's an amphitheater in Florida somewhere that you can buy VIP, and they're just tickets. You don't get to meet him. You get to go like, I don't know, you get to take a picture in front of a Morgan Wallen picture
Backstage and you get a shrimp cocktail.
You get 2 drink tickets, and they're $850 a piece. You know, but that's going to be cheaper than the resale.
Right.
I'm sitting on 4 Bruce Springsteen tickets, and I'm in the same boat because we don't have a babysitter in Atlanta.
Right.
So it's like, do we double our money, or do we figure out how to go to the concert?
Yeah, it's tough, you know, because it's a whole night. You know what we talked about it before. I just like the whole experience. The concert is one. It's obviously the main, but to go out, there's probably 6 or 7 of us that are going.
Yeah.
It's hanging out before and so
Right.
forth.
Going
Are
on
you
the
like-
rides at
do-
Hershey Park.
Are you like tailgating the concert?
Pre-game, but probably not at the. You know,
In the parking lot.
we're staying at Hershey Lodge, which has a shuttle to and from the concert.
Okay.
So we're just probably just get in somewhere around there and
Nice.
hang out. But you will never go to another concert show with these prices.
I like to go to concerts. I mean, most of the concerts that I've been to in the past 10 years anyway have been at like Baltimore Soundstage or like Auto Bar. They're like concerts with like 200 or 300
who is your
people.
main right now? Who's the person that you would, whether they're touring or not, that you would say, I'm going? Ticket prices aside,
Probably still Jack Johnson or maybe Run the Jewels. I'd like to see Run the Jewels.
do they tour?
Yeah. Like I'm just never going to pay $300 for a ticket to go to a
It
concert.
is tough. Everybody does what they want with their money.
I know they
If
do.
you make your own money, you do whatever the hell
I
you want,
know,
and that's the
I
wonderful
know.
thing about making your own money.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
But like, what would you do with $800?
I
Like,
don't
just-
know. Buy 2 rounds of groceries.
Okay, so that's 2 weeks worth of groceries.
Yeah.
Maybe let's say for maybe 3 weeks.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait, 20 flights on Frontier Airlines.
And then it comes full circle.
But like, okay, so 3 weeks of groceries. After 3 weeks, do you care about that? Do you have a memory of those groceries? Do you like, you know, you should be able to at least go think back on that experience. Like we had a fucking blast. Like
Yeah.
we still talk about the beach trips, right? Like
Totally. That
15
was a
years
whole
later-
week for like
that-
$250.
But now we're old. We don't have a whole week.
Right.
We have singular days to do
Right.
something fun. And like, okay, so
But have you ever left a concert and thought like that would have been worth $800 or $1,000?
That's a good question because the answer for me is no.
Yeah.
I've never paid that much
What's the most that you've paid
these tickets.
these tickets?
Yeah. Because like I just saw Jason Aldean in Nashville, and he is a very close second, but I've seen him like 4 times. So that was like maybe the 4th or 5th time. And I paid $100 a seat.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah, totally.
totally
That is
reasonable.
right. Yes.
And the resale, like I had a couple extra tickets. I could have sold them for about $400, but that was resale good seats.
I feel like we've spent like multiple weeks talking about concert tickets.
Well, I mean, it's a big thing right now. I mean,
it is.
what's her name? AOC.
Oh yeah.
Like she's doing something that I am like, okay, cool. I get behind it. She's trying to disband the monopoly that Ticketmaster has.
Yeah. Yeah.
which I think is a great thing.
because it's Liberty Media and they own Live Nation
right.
and they own Ticketmaster.
There's nowhere else you can.
They
get
also own
tickets.
Formula One, which obviously they're selling their own tickets. So it's a total monopoly.
And like they own like the concert venues. Like I think doesn't Live Nation own 930 Club and Merriweather and
Maybe.
Anthem and
Yeah.
like I mean they own everything
Yeah, it's full
except the
circle.
artist that's playing on stage, and in some cases they might even
Probably,
own
yeah,
them.
right.
Like they might own their contracts.
I mean,
Like they've got
yeah.
that whole entertainment market cornered, and nobody else like unable to get in. You know what's another odd business that's completely like cornered and controlled by like big companies that you'd never know. the death business.
Funeral homes.
It's
all private equity.
Yeah. It's
there's
crazy.
There's a couple of companies that own them all, and they specifically keep them unbranded, so it looks like mom and
the neighborhood
Bill's funeral
parlor.
home. Yeah. But our dad was trying to get into like doing advertising for that kind of stuff, and he realized when he started calling it all these businesses that they were just all owned by the same people.
Huh.
Yeah.
It's costly to die.
Yeah, it ain't cheap.
You might be too poor to die.
I just want to be buried in a hole and put like a tree on top of me. I want to be buried in one of those like
put a little seed in your butt and it just sprouts from your ass.
Right in the butt. But yeah, hopefully it's like an apple tree. You guys could all eat my ass. All right. Well, that was a fun week or episode or show.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Good. Thanks for stopping by.
It was nice to have somebody other than Steve here.
Yeah.
I would imagine a lot of people say that. You can cut that out as well.
No, that actually stays. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for stopping by.
Next time you're in town, hang out with us again.
Maybe go to a Morgan Wallen concert.
Can't wait. Start saving up now.
Yeah.
Just cut back on my Frontier flights.
All right. For the Jim Joe Steve Show, my name's Joe.
I'm Jim.
And I'm Steve Standen.
And we'll talk to you next week.